Everybody, in this session, we're going to focus on where AI is saving leaders time. We're going to split our time between talking about sales leadership and talking about enablement leadership. Good, we are recording. That's awesome. We're going to share what we like about tools and what we're using and what's worth trying if you haven't already. Because frankly, just researching what's out there and available, at the rate of change, it's a lot, isn't it? So I love getting advice and recommendations from people I trust. And we have an incredible panel. So hopefully you're going to get some great tips to boost productivity. You're going to come back with some things to free up your time and your team's time and some quick wins that you can implement right away. If you're just joining us, welcome. Please tell us what city you're in chat and tell us your favorite AI-enabled tool. And I'm going to introduce our fabulous panel. Here we go. Amy, will you reach out to Casey in background, please, and see if she's okay? See if she struggled. She was with us a moment ago and we've lost her. So we'll introduce her last, but otherwise we're going to go in order. You guys get to wave and make faces at the camera because I'm going to run these intros. I'm doing it because these things go by so fast and I want to save on time. So jump in and help me, Helen, but let's start with you. Helen is one of the smartest women I know, and I'm so blessed that she's also on my board and Legacy Executive Club. There's Casey. Welcome back. We went boom, went fast, didn't it? I didn't get my coffee either. All right. So Helen is the founder of Sales. Pardon me. I'm starting over. Helen's the founder of Results-Driven Sales Leadership. She's also the author of Love Your Team. Damn it. I wish my copy was right here to hold up. Helen's been leading sales teams for 25 years. Get this. Do it. You've got it. Including, get these logos, Microsoft, IBM, and Apple, and more. She loves coaching leaders and RevOps teams on how to use AI to be more effective in their current processes, but also using the data and the tools more efficiently. Also, Helen, I love that you're not just a tools junkie, you're a calls, like sales calls, sell things, not tools. And we are so aligned there. So I'm really, really happy to have your point of view here. Casey, give us a wave. There she is. Also a long history of sales leadership, including leading commercial sales at SMB West Coast in Salesforce. So she says what she's doing too. Casey's also jumped out to my side of the fence, and she is now available for hire at C2IT Partners. She loves that transition from rep to manager, which it has my heart too, as my girls clubbers know. So again, a lot of alignment there. Casey does training and coaching, focuses a lot of her time on helping those crazy busy sales leaders like you who have joined us save time with coaching. She's an AI boss, and she's going to share seriously specific, like actual prompts that you can use. So golf clap for Casey. So those are our sales experts today. Dr. Richard Conde, sitting in the middle, associate professor at University of Houston downtown. He's teaching AI in sales and researching sales and AI. And it's part of only one of 7 MBA programs in sales in the country. Richard, I remember when there were only 7 sales programs in the country, right? Now there's 7 MBA programs. So that's super cool. We've known each other through most of that. He's got tons of fascinating research on what's happening in these worlds. And he gets to take the time to have those intellectual conversations about where it's going and what's happening, like the rest of us wish we had time to. I'm also going to tell you that he has earned that doctor title, but he's given me permission to call him Richard because he's just that cool of a guy. So welcome. We're glad you're here. All right, my friend on the enablement side of the tips, Rose Pake, fresh off the Lady Gaga concert. She leads global sales development enablement at DocuSign, so that tiny little company that nobody knows. She's transforming how teams learn and perform. Like, she's got really great tips about how AI is baked into the learning that you can steal. Okay. She actually earned her master's degree from Johns Hopkins on AI-enabled adaptive learning. I'm not exactly sure what that even means. So get that she may be like, the smartest person in any room. She's super passionate about using AI to unlock human potential and make enablement not just more efficient, but more impactful. I'm your final panelist. If I can get my shit together and actually speak coherently here today. Oh, the coffee has arrived. Best husband ever. Thank you. All right. I've got about a decade in both enablement and sales leadership. I'm using AI every day. And I got to tell you, 6 months ago, I started kicking and screaming. And now it's 5 times a day. So I love cheating off smart friends here, and I'll give you the real scoop. And there means there are no dumb questions. I'm here to ask your dumb questions for you. So feel free to chat them in. If you're new, my firm is called Factor 8. We've been around 16 years. We help frontline sellers have better sales calls and outbound confidence. And we help that transition from sales into management, including my heart and soul. Give me a shout out to any of my girls clubbers in the house. Girls Club is a program that helps people make that shift. It's just for women. We're going to celebrate 600 promotions before the end of the year. Look at some of these stats. Yes, Talia's in it and loving it, right, Rose? Yep, Casey's been involved. It's a life-changing thing. So scan that QR code, not just for you, but leaders to help get a woman on your management team. You're going to promote her before the end of our program because it's that awesome. Woohoo! We've got some hands raised. This is exciting. So Amy, you're going to grab those questions for me, please, and put them in chat. If you've never been to a sales shot, they all move this fast. I usually have a little bit more brain cells, but it's 30 minutes. It's tip rich. It's free. These are the next two. You can sign up at factor8.com/shots for the next 3. I'm going to quit talking in about 30 seconds. This is what we're covering today. I promise my panel is going to jump in quickly, but before we do, and I run out of time and I quit the share button, I need to tell my friends that the grants are back. The grants are back. The grants are back. The grants are back. So if you're an enablement leader and you're a team of one and people are asking you to do everything and you wish you had the budget to actually hire in help, the grants can offset about 90% of that cost. Factor8.com PSC so that we can tell you all about it and see if you qualify. Oh, thank God I don't have to talk anymore. Here we go. Panel, rapid fire. Number one recommended use case in your role for AI. Helen, I'm going to go to you first.
Okay.
Then we're going to go to Casey. Hit it.
All right. So what I love with AI is to take the recorded conversations that we all have, whether it's Zoom, what have you, put them into ChatGPT and get insights that are relevant. What are prospects or customers saying about our business? So top competitors mentioned, top objections, assessing how the team is handling objection handling. Are they asking for the next meeting? So you can do a skills profile based on really how your sellers are actually, what they're actually saying in a live conversation.
Freaking love that. So it's like the number one reason that sales leaders spent billions on Gong lately, right? Is because they wanted that insight. And we can get it from ChatGPT. You're not talking about a special tool, right? You're just literally uploading transcripts and asking questions.
And like upload, put in 10 at a time, 50 at a time. Don't do one-on-one conversational intelligence coaching because there's no leverage in that. So just load them all in, do it conversation specific, a cold call, a discovery call, a negotiation call, and go and get some insights.
Ask your questions. Yeah. I got to tell you, doing that, when you shared that tip with me, it's already saving me time when we're doing analysis for customers trainings because we listen to the calls and find the gaps, right? And that takes a lot of time, just like the same reason your managers aren't doing it in coaching. So I can't believe I didn't think of it. Massive knowledge bomb. Thank you. That was beautiful. Casey, number one for you.
Yes, I think the number one thing is to help first line sales managers replicate their brain when it comes to understanding their team's customers. If you step into your day, most frontline managers I talk to are looking at a calendar that is stacked back to back, many of which are customer calls that they have zero time to prep for, and they're expected to be an expert voice going into that conversation. Go in, use ChatGPT as a free tool. I'm going into a conversation with this CEO from this company. This is the type of conversation. What are the things I need to know? That way you are informed like your customers and your AEs expect you to be.
And it takes 20 seconds to do it and you show up smarter. We're going to start dishing on tools right now because the last time we did an AI webinar, somebody chatted in Olive as the solution to that. And since then, my sales leader has started using it. The beauty is I don't even have to ask. Olive sends it to me, right? I get invited to a call and all of a sudden, all my pre-call research is sitting right there in my email, ready to go. It's baller. Does anybody else use Olive and love it? Oh, thank you, Amy. She's chatting in how you can learn more about it. It's awesome. All right. Thank you for that, Casey. That's huge. That's a time saver like you wouldn't believe. And you just seem smarter. And everybody likes to think it that way, right? All right, Richard, then Rose.
Yeah, wow, great insight so far. So for me,
Right?
generally, I think most people look at the top of the funnel. But one of the things that I think is really fascinating is using AI to do what I call quantitative analysis, sentiment, topical, all of those insights from
Mhm.
your customer base. If you have that information, whether it be on LinkedIn posts, Twitter posts, whatever posts, or even customer engagement, employee engagement, great
Mm.
tools to let you kind of go through and not get focused on one outlier statement, but look at the sentiment, what it really means, the topics people are discussing. So great insights that ChatGPT can provide you at any position within a sales organization.
I never thought of that either. That's freaking brilliant. Like, I'm constantly trying to get that out of my sales team. Like, what are you hearing about factor rate out there? What are people saying? And instead, I upload the calls and get the real info myself. What specifically would you ask around sentiment? Can I ask you to get super tactical for us? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I think I'll break it down a few, right? One, sentiment analysis. You want to know neutral, positive, and negative sentiments. You want to get that number. You also want a topical analysis. What are the topics? What are people discussing? And
right.
sometimes I do text clustering and cluster different comments together. Again,
Yeah.
it's not 100% accurate, but it gives you a nice trending to help you understand what customers are saying. And a lot of people use that when they have whatever comments on social media, copy and paste them, easy peasy, and you get really great insights.
I think that's fantastic. And we've been doing member surveys, Helen, as part of our Legacy Executive Club, and one-on-one calling people to white glove through what's going on and what do you like and what don't you like. And we've got it all captured, but to actually then upload the transcripts and get the sentiment analysis that goes with it is huge. So you talked about a tool before, Richard, too, that does sentiment analysis for you that you were loving, right? Can you want to drop that name?
Yeah, so basically I created my own GPT. Now that is the paid version, but you can create GPTs, custom GPTs. And once you have them, that's a $20 a month version. It's not the free version. All you have to do is upload the information and it gives you the outcome. So 20 bucks a month is pretty inexpensive, and you have a lot of resources to help you pinpoint exactly the information you want to capture.
It doesn't take long to love it enough to move from the free version
That's
to the
right.
paid version. I'm going to drop a tool hint here too, and then Rose, it's your turn. My friend Viv told me about Magi.ai, and it's the same price as your paid version of GPT, but it has so like all of them in there. You just go select which one. So I can chat GPT, I can Claude, I can Llama, I can Maverick. I'm going to run out of smart names here, but all of them are there. And it's pretty cool. All right, Rose, your number one use case for enablement.
Yeah, so I manage a global enablement team, and we have global customers, which means EMEA wants X, APJ wants Y, and I have 5 really talented but different people executing all of this. So the challenge for me is ensuring that our reps in Dublin and in Singapore get consistent value and messaging that helps them succeed. So I decided to clone my brain. I'm just kidding, but I kind
Not
of
really.
yeah,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
really. I did clone myself. And I call it like a rose clone, which is basically it helps my team create content at scale. And we have a consistent voice and messaging. So this helps my team focus more on bringing their unique insights and making sure that we all have consistent messaging no matter who's creating the content.
So your Rose clone is a persona. Is that right? So there's a couple questions about that in chat. Like, how do custom personas work? Can you guys explain the difference between like a persona and a saved chat? Like your Rose clone is the persona. Give us the 101 on personas for those of us who don't 100% get it.
Yeah, so what we've done is I have built the persona that and configured it to our DocuSign writing style plus how we want to speak to sales dev specifically. And so our persona is like you're a sales enablement expert, and you are conversational and you use customer centric language, 8th grade reading comprehension level, not as a diss, but just for clarity and
Oh,
concision. And I also prompt it to focus on what learners need to do and not just what they need to know. And so we
But
have,
your quality control is what it is. It's quality control in a person.
yes. And so we've shared that across the team.
So then when they go to write instructions or an e-learning slide or a workshop, then do they pick, okay, I'm opening up ChatGPT, and then they go pick the persona,
Mhm.
and then they go write in what they're creating?
Yes.
That's the 1, 2, 3. Anybody want to add to that at our 101 level to help other people understand how to use personas better?
Yeah, I mean, I think it aligns to similar to the custom GPTs. You have a lot. Now they've enhanced it in the last couple of months. Custom GPTs have more customization. You can there's some limits how much you can upload, but you can really create any persona or any rule base that you can share across your teams to create a host of great ideas like Rose is doing.
Okay, so now I got to go next level. And Helen, I'm going to bring this one to you because you taught me how to create a bot, which I know you're going to make available to people. So help me understand the difference between a persona, a custom GPT, and a bot.
Well, I think a custom GPT is a bot. They're all bots. So persona, it sounds like it's catered specifically to a personality and a kind of set of guidelines. The custom bot that I created was based on one chapter of my book, Love Your Team. And it's a role-playing bot to help sales leaders have performance management conversations with their team. So I trained it to prompt the leader, hey, do you want an easy, tough, or, kind of medium conversation? Like, do you want the person to be aggressive or passive or that kind of thing? And
Nobody's ever had a conversation with a passive aggressive rep before.
Well, I got to tell you, it's arguably the hardest conversation leaders have, and they don't address performance soon enough, and then it spins out of control. And if you don't address your underperformers, you can't retain your top talent. And so then it will grade and assess the leader. So you can practice these conversations. It's out on ChatGPT. You can search on Love Your Team, and it will bring up the custom bot.
Got it. Okay, so other people's bots are available. Okay,
Yeah,
and they're basically custom GPTs that are full of rules and possibly personas. So they're kind of all the same damn thing.
Yeah, it's all a custom bot. A lot of the custom bots lead you to, basically a lead gen mechanism that goes to the people's website. I made mine available to anybody. And so you can gate it if you want. I didn't.
Yeah. So girls clubbers on the call, those difficult conversations get coached right through it. Tons of practice. I love it for role play and practice. It's good. All right. We're going to do another round robin with kind of your number one warning, right? You guys are really experienced users when not to use AI. So we're going to go backwards this time. I'm just going to mix it up. Casey and then Richard.
Yeah. Could I add one more comment on the personas and custom bots thing really quick?
Anytime.
I didn't want to overstep. I want to just say, like, I'm more of a person that uses other people's custom bots rather than creating my own. I find that sometimes to be a little too intimidating, and I don't feel like I have the time to teach it. So it's important to know, like, Helen has a fantastic tool, and you can save that, and I can have access to all my tools on my left toolbar here. Yeah. And I use personas as a way to, I think of it as a way to teach ChatGPT who I am and how to work like me. And so you can ask it, if you don't know where to begin on teaching it how to be like you or think like you or talk like you, ask it. Simply ask it, how do I teach you to operate like I do? What are some questions I should answer for you? And then save that chat thread into a project. So you can create a little folder project for hard conversations or for writing emails to customers or what have you. So sorry, just kind of like the,
I'm going to make sure I understand it. No, that's good.
For dummies version. For me.
Yeah, no, it's good. So you take other people's bots plus your persona, and then you save the chat as a project so you can go revisit it.
Correct.
Honestly, these are the simple things that intimidate me because people talk about them like, I can't figure out how to find this shit. Gross.
Yeah.
To that end, I've also added a link in the chat, which is a really good resource for kind of developing your first prompt yourself, your own GPT,
Yes.
and it'll help you refine it. So
Thank you for that. It really is about the framework. And I know we're going to get into that in a moment too. But when we're not teaching it and giving it the framework and just asking stuff, we're getting garbage, aren't we?
Yes.
Which is probably people's top warning. So Casey, jump in further with
Sorry. So
don't
what to
use it.
not, yeah, when to
Yeah.
not use it.
Yeah.
I think the two biggest things I would say is do not expect it to know what you're thinking, right? That's number one, is like garbage in, garbage out. There's a
Yeah.
lot of times people are like, well, ChatGPT doesn't work for me. Well, it's because you probably are using too basic of a prompt and it's
Mhm.
you're not being specific enough. Like to Rose's point, getting really specific on the reading level of things, of talk. I say things like, talk to me. I want to talk to people like you're my friend. I want this to be highly relatable. So using that type of language, it will analyze. The second thing is do not expect it to be 100% accurate. I know everyone else here on the panel will agree with me on that.
Look at the nods. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really helpful, but it is not a universal truth. Do
No.
not treat it as a universal truth.
No, it's bad with facts, right? And so
Yes.
when I've noticed that, so I've started using it to shop for the best beach for my husband's birthday, right? And it's great because it's like, here's my criteria, give me 20 resorts, right? And put it in a table so I can go and look at it. But then I know it's lying to me because this resort we stayed at last time. So how do you go back? Like, can you shame ChatGPT into getting its facts right? Or do you just go to a different tool?
I
Well,
mean, I call it out. Go ahead. Sorry. I
I was gonna
literally
say
tell it I don't trust it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
it's just an inference engine. It's just spitting out the next thing. It doesn't think. It doesn't like have a memory. It just spits out the next thing based on what you put in. And you can say, oh, this isn't, you can teach it what you don't like about it and, say that and then have that be part of your experience with ChatGPT or whatever engine you're using. But don't expect it to do facts. I mean, people talk about hallucinations, and
Right.
that's usually inaccurate things, but sometimes it comes out with accurate things. That's also a hallucination. It's all
And you don't
hallucination.
know. Can I tell you something? My number one lead source right now for people who are looking for training is ChatGPT. So
Right.
I think it's brilliant. There's no hallucination there, folks. There,
Good one.
but I mean, that's happening now too. I have no idea how we're doing it. Be clear, Amy gets all the credit, but I just don't want it to stop. So it gets some things right on. All right, but do you have another use case or warning, Helen, of when not to use it?
Yeah. Well, so AI has caused a proliferation of prospecting emails and LinkedIn. And I think that's a terrible use case, is to use digital communication to prospect, because you're just adding to the noise. And even when you do a custom email, highly crafted, you're still just adding to the noise. And so you've got to find other ways to cut through to prospect. So I don't think spamming with emails and LinkedIn is a good look. And I think you're actually eroding trust. And you've got to build trust in B2B sales, not erode it. So don't do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's our webinar. The final words from Helen Finucci. Stop spamming me. It's not working. Thank you.
No,
very
I don't
much.
think so.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's really good. It's really good.
Honestly,
Rose, do you have one?
Sure. So Helen, just to add to that, at DocuSign, we've seen the AI enabled or like the agentic AI email and messaging have some positive results. But
Right.
where it's not working is, the AI email might get you the meeting, but then if you're not doing the prep work, right? So the perfect outreach email got you in the door, but then you show up and you do not sound the same as the person who sent that email and can't have that conversation that the prospect was hoping to have. And so that definitely erodes the credibility and the trust and wastes everyone's time.
But there's also the bait and switch in that. Like one
Oh, yeah.
got me, I showed up and I was expecting him to teach me A, and this is what he was selling, and it was way over here. And I was like, oh my God, I totally fell for the AI customization. Yeah.
Yeah. And
That's
then,
such a good point.
yeah. Thank you.
Interesting though, Rose. Do you want to share any tips about what you think made it successful?
What,
The email outreach, how
Yeah.
it wasn't just more incorrectly hyper-personalized spam?
yeah, it was leveraging kind of the customer usage, and it got really detailed about, the white papers that they downloaded and that the history of that. And we did a lot of experimentation. So
I like that.
I vividly remember one email response that said, I am reaching out to you solely because of this well-written email. And that was really cool to see. But then you have to trade that time for email preparation with call preparation, I would
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah, that's fair.
I think it's magnifying an issue that's been around in sales for a long time, which is, how many of us have had experiences with that BDR, that SDR that sent that massive, fantastically crafted email, and then you actually get on the phone with them and it's like, well, I thought you knew my business, and all of a sudden they don't know anymore.
Yeah.
I think that's very fair.
I think
that's
another
fair.
layer to consider is now with information, we can target the messaging to people's personality types. So there's a lot of tools you can use it, but research supports the fact that when you craft, let's say that Rose is a creative type. So my email to her is creative. I'm very like bullet point. Mine would be bullet point. So that's what customization, it's evolving. It needs to evolve more. So what Rose indicates about using all these data points and collecting them to maximize. Another layer is our personality types, because we absorb and, sound geeky, but we look at information differently. And it's a layer that's missing because most people just copy and paste and spam, 1,000 people.
Well, let's stay here for a minute. Let's talk about top of funnel and how else we're using AI in top of funnel. And Richard, I want to give you a chance to name drop here because you mentioned you really like Crystal Knows for understanding personality types, right?
Yes. Yeah. Crystal Notes is really good. I mean, if there's a free version, you get 10, but you can combine that with your AI prompts to really personalize the message if you want to send it out. Now I think Rose did a fantastic job looking at all his data points. We hear a lot about customization, but really it isn't that customizable. I look at my own Google ads that I receive, it's like, they have no idea who I'm as a customer because I get things I would never buy. That's a different conversation. But I think it's how do you have those tools about, and what I'm trying to study now is, can I use LLMs to put a profile in and give me their personality type, sort of mimic what some of these customer companies are doing. So I'm testing that to see if it works. And of course, I'll have to do more research on the subject, but I think it's really fascinating to really personalize messaging, which we don't do a very great job.
So doing a better job. So top of funnel use case from you, doctor, is really hyper personalized, not just with historical and data, but to personality type and not for spam. I love it. It's good. Helen, anything else top of funnel?
Well, what I do is I create lists using AI. So I create lists and then I do cold calling. And I think that it's really hard to know what state a prospect is in, whether they're in a buying mode or not, unless you speak to them. And at least in, tech, a lot of the sales or contract cycles are 3 years. And so that means that only 8% of your prospects are in market at any one time. But if you speak to them and then you schedule follow-ups, maybe quarterly, then you can actually have an edge over your competition. And if you are speaking to them when they're in market, you might think, oh, that's great. Well, now you're in a competitive red ocean market. And so you have the opportunity to build trust over time, and trust is a currency of B2B. And that's why humans are needed, not AI, for B2B sales.
Will AI replace sellers? Everybody in the chat, give me a yes, no, maybe, hell no. Tell me what you think. Everyone here shaking their heads, but Casey, you have kind of a sly smile.
Depends if it's commoditized, Lauren.
I'm with Helen. Yeah.
For what's commoditized.
Yeah.
Well, I think it depends on the funnel. I'm sorry. Yeah, because like 90% of all sales transactions are started by the customer, and information is entering people more the lower part of the funnel. So I think the top part of the funnel can definitely, likely, maybe automated to a certain extent.
Well, I've got a friend who's using agentic AI for inbound and says they're outpacing some of the reps. So if you're not doing it well in sales, then you're going to get replaced. Richard, can we go back to that stat? The last I heard the stat about customer research is we were getting them when they're 70% of the way through the sales cycle. But you just said 90% of sales transactions are initiated by the buyer?
Correct, by the buyer. Yes, and more are entering at the bottom because we have so much information. Now, that stat includes B2B and B2C. And if you think about most
Sure.
B2C
B2C.
transactions,
Yeah.
I mean, we start all those.
Yeah.
Enough information is available where people are entering the funnel. And I think that's some of the challenges that we have with the current process is that we teach from the top down when actually, to what Helen and Casey said and Rose, you have to consider if I enter at a decision point, the way you're going to treat me as a customer is different.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I hear that loud and clear. I want to go backwards here for a second. Helen, how are you using AI to create lists? Are
Oh,
you doing
so
beyond the typical LinkedIn Navigator kind of list creation? What are you, any hot tips there?
well, there are tools out there like Rightbound is an example that has 75 million LinkedIn profiles in its database. So I do a search based on characteristics of who I want to talk to. So I want to talk to people whose job it is to solve the problem that my product or service addresses. And
Yeah.
so I will characterize that through natural language queries. So you could call it keywords. I don't ever do title, I'll do sales as a discipline, but I don't usually do titles because that's pretty useless. And then I
Well,
get a
yeah,
list
for the
that way.
situation. That's huge. All right, drop the name of that tool again.
Okay, sure. Rightbound.
Rightbound. Awesome. And then where do you get data? Like I love the fact that you're saying 8%, folks. So if you're spraying and praying email, hoping to find the people in the 8%, you're eroding the trust for when they do hit the 8%. So you're calling instead, but are you getting their contact data from there as well?
Well, Rightbound can provide contact data. I actually have other resources. I'm a reseller of Connect and Sell, which is a calling platform. And in my contract, I have access to Connect and Sell data as
Their
part of
data's
my
amazing.
Yeah, and so they also know who answers the phone and whatnot.
Exactly.
Their what's called List Enrich is also available on the Azure Marketplace, and for $100 you can get 10,000 contact, like email and phone call
Yeah.
contacts.
I've never seen better data. They really, really know what they're doing. So let's drop that into chat too. This is so good. All right. More top of funnel tips. Casey, I got to come to you.
You know, I'm listening to all these fantastic tips, and I think they're great. When it comes to top of funnel strategies, I prefer to use AI to tap into the fact that Richard mentioned, which is buyers are savvier than ever now. I don't care if you're in B2B selling or B2C selling, whatever it might be, consumers know a lot and they expect you, instead of educating them on your solution, to speak directly to who they are as a person and what they care about. So I think AI is extremely helpful in trying to brainstorm and understand the psyche of the person you're going to be speaking to or reaching out to. What are their hopes, fears? What do they care about? How are they compensated? What's in it for them that your solution can help them with? Not only when it comes to helping the business, I'm assuming B2B sales for now, not only with helping the business move the needle, but for them personally with their own paycheck. So that's how I am leveraging AI right now. I mean, we could talk a lot about making lists. I think that's fantastic. But for me, the biggest value add is for it to be my brainstorming critical thinking partner in the type of human that I'm going to be talking to.
I love that. For my Factor 8 friends out there, we teach about the SWIFT 6. SWIFT stands for so what's in it for them. And there are 6 key business values. And once you identify what that is, that's what you sell to, right? That's what you're proposing against. That's the value that you're bringing. And having AI help us identify what that is freaking awesome. So I'm getting my thought leadership now wired into a bot because I'm not smart enough to build it. It's a super cool company out of New Zealand called Grow AI, GRW.ai. And they do the research, they do the planning, they do the coaching, they do all the stuff. It's sort of like the gong analysis plus the olive and the pre-call planning and the chat GPT, but then they wire in thought leader frameworks as well. So you get coaching from those things. And I'm just super honored to be a part of it. And I'm like excited to use it. And I think that that's where in some ways, that's the next question. Let me ask it this way. And then Rose, I'm coming to you for your top use case and how you're teaching sellers. Will AI replace training? We said it won't replace sales, but I'm seeing so many tools out there that are like, hey, you don't now have to train it. Chat it in, folks. Yes, no, hell yes, someday, maybe, whatever the answer is. Let's see it. I'm seeing a lot of tools that are like, hey, you don't have to train your reps anymore, right? AI is just going to tell them what to say live on the screen right beforehand. And that makes me cry a little bit because I think the quality of our conversations are going to plummet, right? But I also feel like we have to embed AI in our learning for enablement leaders. And Rose is going to tell you 3 ways she does that right now. But we also need the AI tools to follow it. So I'm going to keep teaching people how to identify Swift and what it means, but then I'm going to give them a coach that is going to help them pull it out. And that makes me happy. I think that's the right kind of 1-2 punch, but I can't wait to hear what my panel thinks. Rose, first and foremost, let's talk about how you're embedding AI to train sellers in that top of funnel area.
Sure. So, echoing a lot of the ideas that were already said, but I'll also, throw in a new one, which is creating repeatable wins. Especially with sales development, right? You are in that role for a couple, like 2 years, and then you get promoted. And so we have a lot of turnover, and that knowledge gets kind of lost as people move to different companies and throughout
Yeah.
different parts of the business. So what is cool is we can use AI, for example, kind of what Richard, you were saying earlier. Let's get all this historical data and then find patterns and then repeat them, and teach the reps seasonality. And we now have reps kind of creating their own gems on their team, Gemini gems, and sharing that with one another and kind of leaving that as an artifact so that they can kind of teach the next group. So
Tell us what a gem is for us.
just like a GPT, but it's Google's version. So Gemini gem.
Got it. Okay, got it. So it's like your custom, your
Mhm.
persona, your saved chat, your bot. Okay, got it. Thanks.
Yeah, and I think that, what it really does, it creates is like predictable wins instead of guesswork, which is really important for the early career folks. They just know there's something that they can replicate. And then kind of build on themselves.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that it's a leave behind. That's
Yeah.
really neat, right? That's really neat. All right, let's share some of the ways you're pulling AI into training for our enablement leaders.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of, so first I'm going to say just answering the question of will AI replace enablement?
Thank you for that because I didn't see the chat light up. For sales, everyone's like, hell no. And for training, there's like 2 or 3 kind of questions in there. I need some votes, folks. Bring it on. What do you think, Rose?
So I used to teach high school math way back when. And I think about when I taught my students like the quadratic formula, and I taught them how to do it by hand. And once we learned how to prove it and everything, and then and only then would I finally teach them how to program it into their calculator.
Yes.
And
Why?
the reason is if you don't understand the formula, you can't use the program correctly. And I think that's the same thing with AI. It's like we have to teach the reps how to understand the customer problems, what great discovery questions look like, kind of how to present solutions that matter. And then you layer in the AI for the research and prep, but you still got to use your brain, right? AI doesn't replace your judgment. And it certainly cannot replace the human connection component. So it's like use it for prep, right? Use it, but then all that time that you save, it's invested in real human interaction and relationship building, and then you become irreplaceable, right?
Thank you for that. I'm going to pipe in and then ask him. We're coming back to you for more enablement tips. I want to hear what everybody else thinks on this briefly. But I got to say, this is the age-old discussion of teach them how to have a conversation or give them a script. It's the same thing, isn't it? And I've always been hell no on scripting because you're not teaching them how to think in the moment or have a conversation or use their judgment. You're just giving them words to say. And that does not equal a good customer experience or growth. Anybody else disagree with Rose on this idea around AI and training?
No, I think she makes a great point that I'm actually studying right now is I call it foundational components. So for example, you want to teach someone sales strategy, and you see a lot of training on sales strategy. But if that person doesn't know pattern recognition, they'll never be a strategist. So I do believe that AI can help facilitate what I call components, because we focus generally training on the big picture. Rose's example is perfect. I can't run a marathon if I don't know how to stride. So I'm trying to study how does AI help answer some of the components. Because if I teach you, if you have AI to help with those components, I really need to teach you strategy in that example. Maybe
Yeah.
not. Maybe I need to refine how you have the skills to think differently. So I think
AI
it's
can
an
help us
evolution
teach
that
the
we have to consider.
basics. Yeah, but they still need the basics if we're going to help them go further. That's really good. All right, Rose, how are you doing it? Give a tip to my enablement leaders in there.
Yeah, so I would say, something that we're always asking ourselves as a team is there kind of just an easier way to get this done? And then again, how can we create time and space for the reps to focus on that human interaction component and less on the admin work? So one example, we've talked about the research tool a bunch here. So, how we use it in research. So that's a no-brainer. And the other kind of use case is for after the qualification calls or discovery calls, kind of preparing the notes to transfer the opportunity to the AE, just download the transcript and then putting it into a gem and then, having it fill in the opportunity notes. And then maybe surface, additional places where you could ask questions for the AE to really understand, okay, this is what I need to do next. And also have some standards for kind of the opportunity creation.
I love that. I know that you call those spice notes, right? The situation, pain, impact. Folks, sales leaders out there. Again, it's a hilarious question, but has anybody ever had trouble getting AEs to accept the leads from their BDRs? Has anyone breathed today? Right? Let ChatGPT solve that for you, right? So quit having your leads rejected. Get AEs excited about it with the help of AI. I freaking love it. All right. I want to go back to leaders in general. Okay. I'm going to ask you guys for another hot round about what are some table stakes? What are you missing the boat if you're not doing this? And Casey, I haven't heard from you in a hot minute, and you're not currently sneezing. You poor thing. Thank you for being here, even though I know that you went off camera to blow your nose.
I did.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I did. And I
We
sniffled
also
at one point. I
appreciate
realized
that.
I wasn't on mute. I'm sorry. Okay, table stakes.
No, you were fine. You didn't hear it, I promise.
Okay, good. When I worked in big tech, I was always, Salesforce was always big on talking about trust was our number one value. So I have always been naturally skeptical of giving any sort of information to any sort of outside technology source. So table stakes is get your settings right. It's really not sexy, but it's really, really important. Making sure that you click, I actually in my guide mentioned this along with several other prompts, but walking you through the how-to of going to your settings and clicking off that you don't want to share your responses to help ChatGPT learn and have better responses in the future. That it's a tricky way that they say it that with the language, but it makes sure that your conversations with the tools stay within the tool and don't go out to other places at large. That's number one. Number two is obviously do not share customer data. Do not share your personal data about your company with any AI tool because you just.
So leaders, if you're not teaching this and inspecting this, it's happening. Is that fair?
Yes. Yeah, that is a fair thing to say.
Go
yes.
check it. Thank you for that. You're right. That's table stakes and it needs to be said. All right. Richard, what's your number one table stakes leaders hack?
Well, I mean, I think one of the things that I was going to mention when not to use is doing sales analytics. I think AI is good at sales reporting, which is different analytics. At the same time, if you don't have a strong analytics background, you can do some basic things in AI using ChatGPT free version that allows you to have greater information. And talking to a lot of people, we tend to make decisions based on the funnel conversion rates, which are limited. But I think with all of the data that we have, all the information, as everyone's indicated, there are opportunities to use the tool to just give you greater information through just a little bit more advanced analytics using AI.
So you mentioned in our prep call that GPT will actually connect to HubSpot.
Yes, yes, they have a connection now, and I looked it up. It's basically if you have a HubSpot, there's a connector depending on it has to be a paid version.
Yeah.
It appears to be pretty simple, and it's all generative AI, so it connects the
Yeah.
CRM systems, and I expect more of those to be abound in the next year or so.
This is a big deal. I'm going to give you my personal experience, right? With all of the clients I've seen, and most use Salesforce or HubSpot, right? When you ask the leader to say, hey, show me your dashboard and how are you managing your business? What they show you is a report, not a dashboard. What comes standard is so freaking useless to do trend line analysis. And I've been fighting with my dashboard for months and months and months and months to just like trick it into giving me a trend line. It tells you can do it, right? And then I bought another tool. I went and spent money on Tableau and spent a year trying to make that work. It's so freaking frustrating. So I'm really excited about connecting the two and then just asking you questions like a
That's
human,
right. It's amazing.
right? That's sexy. Thank you for that. That's massive. Helen, what do you want to add? Any
Oh,
table stakes?
yeah. So I think the core job of a sales leader is to remove sales friction and support their sellers. And so that can look at a lot of different ways. From if you're in a company big enough to have a CRM system, do automate the updating from the calls or connections that you have with the customer to the CRM. And I've had objections. Oh, well, my sellers meet face to face. There's no recordings. Well, set up a phone line that takes a voicemail from a seller who can just do a quick summary of an in-person meeting, and then it automatically gets updated into CRM. So figure out ways to remove sales friction.
Oh, that's interesting. I love auto CRM updating. That's massive, really massive. That's a big deal. By the way, I use a summary tool, and the summary tool auto updates my CRM. It doesn't necessarily go into the fields for me, but the summary tool is always there, so you don't have to go and do the notes afterwards. And I love having that time back. So speaking of time back, what's a time-saving hack you want to share? And Rose, I'm going to come to you first on this one because I already passed your tip on to 3 people in something that you use and love. Do you remember what it was?
Translation?
Yes, and there's one after that, but start there.
Okay, sure. So again, I manage a global team, and we have reps in Brazil who speak Portuguese. They don't speak English, so English is not a requirement for the BDR position at DocuSign. And so whenever we create content, we have to translate it into 3 additional languages. And so that used to take the people on my team days. To translate a whole deck or just communications, and now we just use Gemini and we do it instantly, so it takes 30 minutes at most. My second example,
I will tell you in a second, but I'm going to +1 on it first. It was your notebook LM that you're going to tell me about. Yeah. So, but first before you go there, I'm going to tell you that I just wrote my first class using AI. So we had to create kind of a basic IT 101. And if you have really good course objectives and you give it really good feedback about where you want to be on the Bloom's taxonomy and how interactive and what and this and that, like the prompt wound up kept longer because I was using it the first time. I used Claude, but the output was literally exactly what I needed to give to the articulate designer to code. That saved me easily 3 days worth of work. So enablement, folks, if you're not doing that yet, it's another biggie. Thank you. All right, tell us about Notebook LM. Cameron, I passed this over to you. No, I'm sorry, Cameron, who's listening, I gave you this tip already. Rose, it's your tip.
Perfect. Okay, so yeah, Notebook LM is great. It's a part of the G Suite, and you can basically put in all of your, create a knowledge base. So we recently we launched a new call coaching initiative, and then we dumped into Notebook LM the training recording, the decks, the job aids, the SOPs, and then you put it into the notebook, and then it becomes a kind of a place where they can go and chat with it. So yes, it's Notebook LM. And So first I tell participants, hey, if you have a question, first go ask Notebook LM because you'll be able to find your answer there in self-serve.
The playbook, it's an interactive playbook. It
Right.
takes a playbook and makes it searchable and interactive. But then it also creates content from it, right?
Yeah, and it creates a podcast, it'll create FAQs, it'll create maps. And it doesn't require any additional content development. You just dump in what you've already created and then it creates it for you. The podcast is so cool because
There were two different voices. It sounded like a rich, and it was all AI. Look at Casey. You blew Casey's mind. I love that.
Well, you saved, I don't know if there's any like startup founders on the line, but you just saved like tens of thousands of dollars on building a knowledge base. That's incredible.
It's amazing.
And it's G Suite. And does that mean it's free?
Just part of Workspace?
Yeah.
It has limits.
Wow.
You can upload 50 PDF documents, I think. But yeah.
Love that.
I have a podcast.
I mean, I'm using it every day anyway.
Yeah,
so it's free to me. Yeah. I love that. Right. Who else has a great time saving hack? We're rounding up the time. Helen. Oh, I'm sorry, Rich. We're going to Helen.
So yeah, Casey made a great point earlier about the power of prompts. And prompts are complicated. They take a long time to write unless you have LLMs write them for you. So what I do generally, I use Claude. Claude is my prompt writer. If I need something more complicated, I give it the instructions. It writes a really detailed prompt. I review it, edit it. Saves me a ton of money because a good prompt, as Casey indicated, is critical to success.
So use AI to write the prompt to talk to AI. Like, again, how did I not think of that? Thank you. That's awesome. Helen.
Yeah, I do that too. So I use it to interview me. Like if I have to do a presentation or a white paper, it's easier for me to answer questions than to come up with content unaided. And so I'll tell it what the goal is, the content area and stuff, and then I'll ask it to ask me questions, and that will prompt me. And then I use that use Claude in this for writing stuff or for speeches, and I'll put it into Claude, and it will create content that's brilliant based on the interview.
I love that. So is Claude pretty much everybody's favorite writing tool? Any others that we want to add in there? There you go, folks. Don't waste time. Claude's the one. Thank you for that. All right. How about notes tools and productivity tools? Chat in your favorite. Jason's saying Gemini is good on that too. Chat in my panel. I want you to go round robin on your note-taking or productivity tool. What do you like best? Helen, you first.
I use Fathom. I don't know if I like it best. It's easy and it's, okay.
I love the outcome of Fathom, but the user experience of, is it in the meeting? Isn't it in? Sometimes I show up with 3 Fathom note takers, and then I can't freaking find the actual notes anywhere. Drives me nuts. Yeah. All right. Anybody else got another one they love? All right. I've had Olive. I've heard a lot of good things on, and Fireflies, but
yeah, I was going to say, I used Fireflies. I enjoy Fireflies. I'm kind of like, I'm a Google Meet girl. So I really like Gemini. It's embedded in it and it's simple.
And it's there. All right. It's good. Favorite sales tools? Who's got one they want to plug there that we haven't heard yet?
Well, I've already said Connect and Sell. I mean, it's brilliant for navigating phone calls and reaching people and prioritizing people who actually answer the phone, things like that.
Yep. Is there anybody in chat who wants to add one that's better than LinkedIn Navigator when you're talking about prospecting? Helen, you told us one of those already. Anybody else on the panel or anybody in chat? All right, we've got one in there. Autobound. Apparently Jason works there, but that's all right, Jason. We'll still check it out. Thanks. That's good. I loved Claude for e-learning and building that. Any other tools that you love, Rose, and when you're building training?
Claude's definitely my favorite. I mean, and then Perplexity for research. And then for sales tools, Gong's great. Yeah.
Good.
And it's also good for coaching, obviously. And yeah.
Love it. Are you using AI in the classroom?
Yeah.
Rose is a yes. Enablement leaders, give me a yes, no, or a tiny bit or a little bit in chat and let me know. How are you using it? Give me one use case in the classroom, Rose.
Well, we definitely use it, like I said, so we'll teach spiced or objection handling, and then we'll give them a gem, a prompt for a gem that they can have on their own. And so we'll help them use it for their own self-development. So if you have a customer call and then you come across an objection, you can do preparation for objections, but also,
Mhm.
oh, there was an objection that I didn't really experience before. I need help preparing that in case it happens next time. And so we've created these, in addition, we're giving you the knowledge and then a Gemini gem so that you can continue learning on your own.
So the framework is there, and then they can role play with it in training and out of training, which I love. That's really, really good. All right. I'm going to actually go back to share. We're going to wrap up. Any final questions? Get them in Q&A ASAP, everybody.
A
If you're
couple, I'm
looking
sorry.
to try to get some AI into your training, we put really basic use cases into some of our most famous classes. This is our prospecting six pack, and each one of them have a couple AI based activities. So you can dip your toe in the water of using AI in your classroom after you change the settings, Casey, right? It needs to say, no, don't teach Chat GPT. So you can find that at factorate.com/better. You can save 20%. It's super inexpensive. So again, my enablement leaders who are trying to train everybody and stay up to date and don't have time to go create it all, there it is. All right, final words. This is any tips we didn't get to hear from you or how people can get a hold of you to talk more about your areas of expertise. Rose and then Richard.
Sure. So I guess, I'll start with you can get a hold of me. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn. Just don't use AI to send me a generic message. And then,
Beautiful. Thank you for that.
yeah, and then I would just say, final is really the, AI is, do not let AI replace the human connection. It cannot, and be authentic, and that's it.
Well said. Thank you, friend. That's really good. Awesome. All right, Richard, final words. Thank you, by the way. I didn't ask about presentation tools and you put it in chat. So speak on that if you'd like to for your final word or go a different direction. Your call.
I was going to do that. So Napkin AI is a great tool to create images to include in presentations, and Gamma AI is actually a decent PowerPoint creator. They're not all that great, but that one's better than
Yeah.
the rest. Yeah,
I've
so
heard that a lot. People like, sure, to give you the content, you still have to create the damn PowerPoint. And so that's the best one. Nobody's great at it yet, but that's the best one.
yeah. So yeah,
Love that.
thanks for the discussion. Yeah, LinkedIn with me. And hey, if anybody wants to do research, let me know. I'm always looking for research partners. And it's a great way to kind of expand all of our knowledge base. So thank you.
You know what? I'm glad that you said that because we literally just launched a research thing. I'm going to show it on one of the next slides. So see if that is something that you want to get involved in, and we'll talk
Sure,
about it
thank you.
offline. Appreciate that. Good. But otherwise, you like it when sales leaders reach out to you because they have, tell us the perfect time someone should reach out to you to do research.
Yeah, I mean, I think anytime. So we're trying to solve problems, and yeah, I'm really interested in training. So measuring training outcomes. There's all kinds of things that I'm curious about. So I try to work with real companies and real data versus surveys, because I think you have better data to kind of utilize it, but also it's
Yeah.
helpful for the organization because they get this information they could try to apply in a more scientific manner.
Yeah. I love that. So if there's a big nut you're trying to crack with research, get the help from the pros. I had to make you specify your prompt a little bit more there, Richard. So thanks for that. Helen, and then Casey gets the final word.
Well, I'm with Rose. You can't forget the human element, that B2B sales is all about trust building, and sellers are risking their career to buy stuff from you. So that's not an AI. That's people selling to people.
You know, folks, if you need help getting the pipeline generation going, what I love about what you do, Helen, and how you do it is you're going to use AI and you're going to use the tools for the right areas, but you're not going to let it take over, right? You still help sellers be better sellers. And that's the key. It's enabling them, not replacing them. And that balance is kind of hard to find. And so if you're looking for help, Helen's your woman. Casey.
Yes. I want to just echo something said earlier. We talked about, will AI replace sellers or enablement professionals? And AI is going to replace anything that we all allow it to. So it's only going to replace it if we start letting it replace us.
Dear
So
God.
truly,
So we need to get better at outbound and
we
inbound
need to,
selling, or AI
well,
will
we
win.
just have, if we don't prioritize the thing that makes us uniquely differentiated, which is us as human beings with one another. And I say we as like a very nebulous thing, but it's true. The more that we can prioritize that, the better. And it can be a huge amplifier for making us better as individuals and as sellers and as enablement professionals.
Perfect. And I'm ending that on our screen one more time. If you need actual skills for sellers and conversations and confidence, you can do it and offset some of the cost. It really is real. The only catch is paperwork. Don't forget Girls Club, new cohort next year in January and July. And then here's the research, Richard. So let me know if you want to get involved. If you like hot tips like this, please go take our survey, folks, and then pass it to 20 other people. In there, yeah, you can get free stuff for it, but most importantly, you get the data. It is anonymous unless you enter to win the stuff. And then we have your name so that we can let you know if you won something. So it's always interesting. We're going to get the rep, the manager, and the leader perspective. So pretty, please take 5 minutes. It's pretty easy to do. Woo! We came in actually 30 seconds over. You folks are freaking awesome. Thank you. That was a fun ride. I learned a ton, even though I talked to you an hour before this. And I know our audience did too. So tell them how great they are in chat, everybody. And I appreciate you all. We'll see you again soon. Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.